All right, hey Brandon, thanks. This is part two of the keto diet with Brandon Clark, and so we're going to pick up where we left off in regards to you were talking about if someone kind of falling off the wagon, right, and also like maybe some of the special events or holidays and things like that, and how you navigate the keto diet. So let's start back up with, hey, if I want to do the keto diet, and I've been on it and I kind of digressed and went off the path, how do I get back on it? What's a way to kind of get back up on the wagon if I fell off?
Yeah, and that's where I like to remind people that don't try and think, well, now I've got to do something crazy, like I got to fast a really long time or do some crazy intense workout. The whole first goal needs to be just getting back on track. So you're only one meal away from being back on track. And I try to tell people to as long as you don't allow it to spiral out of control, right, and to have that thought of, and that's this all or nothing mindset, which destroys people, not only in their nutrition and fitness, but also spiritual. People will say, I'm going to read the Bible every day, and then they miss 1 or 2 days, and then they derail. Right. It's the same with nutrition and fitness. And it's the same with their workouts. You're always one workout away from being back on track. Yeah. And so you got to focus on not letting it spiral. You also got to be honest with yourself too about certain things. Like, are you going to be able to handle this, knowing your prior behavior patterns? So for me, I have weekly cheat meals now that I'm in a maintenance, and I enjoy going out on date nights with my wife. I enjoy having pizza and ice cream movie nights with the kids. Okay. And I do it on like a weekly basis, where most often I'll have about 1 cheat meal a week. Some weeks I might have 2. And it's not the end of the world for me, because I'm always keeping that in mind, that I'm 1 meal away from getting back on track, and I'm going to get back on track because I don't want to lose the amazing health benefits that I'm experiencing day to day from the ketogenic diet, which I know I will lose if I go completely off. Right. Okay. Now that's fair enough. So like when, birthdays, holidays, right? We're kind of in the holiday season, special events. Yes. Do you just say, hey, I'm going to, right. I think you made it pretty clear, and I'm glad you did. Right, we're not looking at perfection, right? We're looking at a consistent process. I think is probably a fairer way to do it. Right, we're not looking for perfection. We're looking for consistent process. So what do you do during holidays, birthdays, things of that nature? Do you just go in with the mindset, hey, listen, I know that I'm going to violate my diet, and that's totally okay, but I'm going to have fun and I'm going to enjoy the moment? Is that kind of your perspective when you do that? 100%. What I focus on, though, is I do focus on realizing, because I've had some bad eating behaviors personally. Yeah. And a lot of times I would eat bad food, especially I was unhealthy in how I approached cheat days before, where I would eat bad food until I was sick. And so the way I focus on it now is I'm going to enjoy the food. Yep. This is 1 meal. I'm going to get back on track right afterwards, but it's not going to be worth it if I allow myself to eat until the point that I get sick. Right. Overindulge. And so, exactly. So I stay aware while I'm enjoying it. I just keep an awareness in the back of my mind that I'm going to be miserable if I take it to the point of getting sick. Yeah. And so you just avoid that. And then a lot of times too, what helps is I purposefully front load protein, meaning the meat. Okay. And I love meat anyway. Right. So the problem with a lot of the carbohydrates is it's so easy to vastly overeat. Right. Because a lot of times, like, that's what bodybuilders will eat carbs in their food because when they need to put on weight, because carbs help you be able to eat more. Right. And so if you prioritize protein, front load the protein, the meat, then that helps you be able to control and have more control over your appetite and your cravings. Okay. And so that's a strategy that I use. Also, staying hydrated is an important strategy. And then also, a lot of times I'll stay consistent with my workouts. I'll do like my 30, 40-minute home workout on Thanksgiving Day.
Okay.
And, or on Christmas, I'll do it. And that kind of helps keep you in a proper, under control mindset. But then again, I'm not going to go crazy if I can't get that workout in, because it's not the end of the world.
Right.
And
right.
I'm going to get back on track after this holiday.
Right. Okay. No, that's helpful. I think that's very helpful. I mean, just for folks like myself and probably many others, right, where you have a goal in mind and then you divert off your goal and you're like, oh no, I just wrecked my goal. And the reality is, no, you haven't necessarily wrecked your goal, right? You're still part of that's still part of the process.
Well, and a lot of times too, what you'll notice, like, don't freak out when you get on the scale the next day, because what's going to happen is carbohydrates hold water. Mm-hmm. So you're going to put on water weight. But what I find is, as I'm living my keto lifestyle and I have a cheat meal, I may put on 2, 3, 4, 5 pounds from a cheat meal, but it's all water. And as long as I get back on track, within 2 to 3 days, I'm right back to where I was before.
Okay.
So I just can't let it spiral out of control.
Right.
I just need to focus on, hey, enjoy the time, enjoy the food, don't overindulge.
Right.
And then just get back on track the next meal.
No, that's fantastic. If someone's, listened to this and they go, I really want to get started, what's the simplest and easiest first step to get started with keto?
Yeah. I would say, if you are completely coming at this from no knowledge base at all, beyond what we're talking about today, the number one best thing you can start to do is stop drinking liquid calories that come from sugar-filled sodas, juices, that type of thing. That's going to be a good first step. Second is going to be starting to eliminate highly processed foods. Like, everybody agrees, no matter which diet protocol that you favor, the highly processed foods are what killing us in America.
Right.
And so you need to eliminate those as much as possible, other than the occasional cheat meals that you're having.
Right.
And you will still yield and reap the benefits you're looking for. But then what I would tell people is, do your research and commit to it. You have to. The thing that changed with me about keto is that I realized that it was something I could do year round as a lifestyle. So commit to it, learn about it. Now, at my link that I have several documents that I make available for people to teach them the basics about keto, beginner guidelines to follow, a keto grocery list. I also have keto meal exampple, day of eating examples, and they're just on Google Documents. But if you go to my link, that gives a good basic knowledge to get you started and to begin to be able to wrap your mind around it, and then embrace the fact that it's not going to be perfect. You're going to realize that you ate something that you shouldn't, and just stay committed to the overall goal, because it's not get out of the 8 weeks, 30 days, 90 days. No, this needs to be, you're changing your lifestyle to be healthy and fit year round, mentally and physically.
Right.
And that is what is to gain by going all in on this. And if you end up trying keto and that it ends up not being the nutrition strategy for them like it is for me. Like, I love it. I love when I'm eating keto, and I love my cheat meals.
Right.
And I know, and I've learned how to supervise them.
Right.
But if somebody hates keto, then maybe keto is what for them.
Right.
And there's other options out there, but be willing to invest in your health and keep on that journey, because being healthy mentally and physically will improve your entire life.
Right.
All the way around in every area.
Right. No, that's great, man. I'll bring up two topics that you probably have addressed before, and I'll speak one for myself. Like sugar, right? Sugar's hard for me to give up, right? Sugar is basically a drug, right? I say that I've got a bad sweet tooth. It's probably an addiction, right?
Yes. Yeah.
How does one give that up, right? Because I do like chocolate. I like ice cream, right? But obviously sugar has some. It's obviously anything involving sugar is going to be processed for the most part. But besides sugar itself being highly processed, so what's a good strategy, right, to separate yourself from the the addiction to sugar, so to speak.
Yeah. So it is a very real addiction. I had an addiction to it. I still I can get out of control if I let myself cheat if I'm not careful. And you'll hear people when they hear about keto and then they hear about cutting out carbohydrates or cutting out bread or sugar, you can see that it's an addiction because it about blows their mind.
Right.
Thinking about life without it.
Oh yeah.
So what I would tell people is number one, when you go into ketosis, one of the things that you will experience is this natural appetite suppressant effect that I think I talked about a little bit earlier, where you all of a sudden your appetite is suppressed, you have control, you're not having the same cravings and the same hunger. So when you're eating carbohydrates, it's especially highly palatable carbohydrates, processed foods, that it increases the cravings. It increases the hunger. It's false hunger. You're not really hungry, or if you are, it's because you're not getting sufficient macronutrients in.
Right.
So when you go all in on this and you start to be able to get the fat that you need, the healthy fat that you need, the protein that you need, and you're restricting the carbohydrates, you experience that appetite suppressant effect. You experience now that you have control over your hunger. Your hunger is normalized. You also experience that the cravings go away, and then your palate begins to change.
Right.
And then that's where the keto brick. Okay, so the keto brick for me. So this is the chocolate peanut butter cup. This is my favorite one. Now there is nothing about eating this that is a deviation from my diet, because it is 100% on track with keto, healthy, no fillers, no preservatives, and it has 89 grams of fat, which mainly comes from raw organic cacao butter that has stearic acid that is essentially a superfood.
Okay.
Then it has 37 grams of protein and only 10 total carbs for an entire 1,000 calorie keto brick.
Okay.
And I'll eat this whole thing during my shift, and I'll have it with a cup of coffee, and it's like a dessert to me. And a lot of that is because I'll still occasionally on my cheat meal have ice cream, or during the holidays I'll have a piece of pecan pie because I love it.
Right.
But because my palate has changed from living a ketogenic lifestyle, things like the keto brick taste amazing. And even if I will allow myself to have some fruit now that I'm in a maintenance phase, like I have been, fruit tastes amazing because my palate has changed. So you're going to end up realizing that you're gaining all of these benefits. And then also when you allow yourself to cheat on sugar, there is a benefit to cheating every once in a while and keeping it under control.
Right.
Because when I cheat, I realize how I feel when I eat that type of food. And I realize I'm not going to keep eating that because I don't want to stop feeling the way I do on keto.
Sure. No, that makes total sense.
It's a good reminder.
Yeah. No, that's right. Is that when you eat something that makes you feel bad, then it doesn't want you don't want to go back there, right? Typically.
Yes. Yeah.
What's the next question I had is, and this is something that I didn't kind of brief you with earlier, but just kind of came, our area has struggled with a lot of alpha-gal, right? Which people can't eat red meat, whether that's beef, pork, a variety of things. Have you had any clients that have had that wanted to do keto but had some sort of alpha-gal?
Yes.
Okay. How did you help them? How did you help them navigate that?
Yeah, so essentially they're going to have things like, if they have bacon, it's going to have to be turkey bacon.
Right.
If they have, a lot of times they're going to be eating a lot of chicken.
Okay.
And I think they can have ground turkey too, right?
I believe so. Yeah, it's really the red meats, right? So they can probably eat fish, right? They can chicken, fish. What's the other one? Turkey. Yeah. I think all those are good. Yeah, but go ahead.
So essentially, you're looking at those as a lot of them are going to be predominantly lean protein sources.
Yep.
So you have to be cognizant, and a lot of time you have to be cognizant of your fat intake, realize that that's where your energy is coming from, and place a focus on getting your fat from an external source. So again, like we're talking about, like extra virgin olive oil, heavy cream or butter in your coffee, adding butter to your meats, which is just going to make your lean meat taste amazing, you know, as if you add butter to it. And so that's a good way to get it there. And then, you know, if I have lean meat, but I have a keto brick every day, it's going to push my fat, you know, up into to that range that I want it to be in order to make sure that I have enough fat for my energy, for my mental clarity and focus. And so there is a way to do it. You can also then utilize, there's a lot of times that people would look up the Mediterranean keto diet, which focuses a lot more on lean meats and getting your fat sources from olives, from nuts, from nut butters, from extra virgin olive oil, from avocado, and that using that as your fat source instead of getting your fat source from red meat and eggs.
So if you're dealing with alpha-gal, right, plant-based fat sources are going to be more needed as opposed to animal-based fat sources, right, to get the fat content or fat amount higher in your diet there. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
No, that's perfect, man. I'd asked this in part one, but kind of allow you to expand on it. Are you still accepting new coaching clients?
Yeah. So I am kind of at a point where I will assess accepting new clients on a case-by-case basis. Now, I really want people to be able to follow me on Facebook, on Instagram. I've thought about starting an email list, you know, those types of things to give people free help about the ketogenic diet. But I also, like, I have a client right now, a female in Scotland, who is an amazing client. Emma, if you end up watching it, you're an amazing client. You do an awesome job. And she has she's just been an awesome client to see I've been working with her for a number of years. But what I would tell people, though, is if for some reason you reach out to me and I tell you that I'm not going to accept a new client right now, I do have people that I recommend. So I recommend Robert Sykes, who's at ketosavage.com. He's at Keto Savage on Instagram. He's the one that I have learned from the most. I've coached under his leadership, under his supervision. And then also he has a platform called Deeper State Keto. And so go to deeperstateketo.com. They have two coaches that operate under his employment, under his supervision now. And it's the male coach, his name is Greg, and the female's name, it's slipping from my memory right now, but they have a male and female coach that are outstanding. The protocol is sound. It will get you results. And so people can feel free to reach out to me. And if I can't, I will refer them to somebody I have full faith will be able to help them.
Perfect. Is there a good contact way for people to reach out to you? Email, or go ahead, and I'll make sure I include it. Go ahead. Yeah, so
I'll end up giving you all my links, but Keto Street Cop at gmail.com is a good way to reach me. Also, I'm at Keto Street Cop on Instagram, and then I also on Facebook. You can reach my Facebook link. It's just under my name, Brandon Clark. And you can reach that link through the Instagram, or I'll also provide it to you to be able to share.
Yeah, perfect. No, that's great. Any helpful products? I know that you put a plug in for the Keto Brick. What maybe you can go into that a little bit more. Sounds like a very helpful product for you. Probably one of the ones that you would recommend above all. So share a little bit more about what the Keto Brick is from a product that you recommend for folks wanting to be, serious about the keto diet, and also maybe have a little bit of convenience while doing
Yes.
it, right? That's probably what the Keto Brick is for. So go ahead.
Right. So with the Keto Brick, so this is my number one favorite flavor, the chocolate peanut butter cup. But they have a lot of other flavors on there. And the thing is that when, again, your palate starts to change and you start to become fat adapted and your body starts craving the fat, things that don't taste so good because you're used to the hyper palatable and sugar, products, now start to taste more and more delicious.
Right.
And I've honestly, even people that are eating carbs, I've never met somebody that tried this and did not like it. Even when they were not keto or fat adapted. And but yeah, it's huge for me because I always will have that on hand. I operate out of my patrol vehicle for 12 hours a day. I also have 5 kids. When I'm on midnight shift, I'm waking up in the middle of the day, and you can end up on the run with people going to sporting events and things like that. Having the Keto Brick is a lifesaver. Also, it's great because I know the company, I know the people, I know the quality, where the people need to be cautious of the other keto products out there because it's all about making money for most of the companies. And I know that is not the fact with Keto Brick. That's why they keep it all in-house and don't outsource it, so they can keep the quality at the highest level. So it is the healthiest product out there.
That's great.
The other ones, the food industry, the fitness industry, they've tried to capitalize on the keto hype by the net carbs. And so what they end up doing is like slapping on it that it's keto approved and it has low net carbs, but it's filled with all this low quality fiber that they use to generate that net carb, because the way you determine a net carb of a food is you subtract the fiber. So they end up formulating a product specifically so they can just slap that low net carb on there. And the product's garbage. And a lot of times when I found people are stalling on their weight loss journey, it's because they're having these keto treats that are low quality, that are not really good for them, that are pure garbage, and it's stalling there. But I have never found anybody stall or be negatively impacted by the Keto Brick. In fact, the maker of it, Robert Sykes, Keto Savage, he just finished his competition season where he did 5 bodybuilding competitions. During his over 30-week bodybuilding prep, he went from over 180 pounds down to his lowest weight of 151 pounds. And in addition to meat and eggs on a daily basis, he was having at least 1 whole keto brick every day. And some of the competitions, he would eat an entire keto brick before he stepped on stage. And so that is what the quality, that represents the quality of this, that a bodybuilder peaking for a competition where everything you eat affects how you look on stage. That's what he made it for. And then other people have been able to incorporate it, like I have, to make keto as easy and sustainable as it could possibly be. So the Keto Brick's a life changer for me. I'll never stop having them every day. The other benefit is when I have at least 1 whole keto brick every day, I find that my hunger is even more under control. My cravings are even more under control. And it's a source of enjoyment for me to where I enjoy it like a dessert with my coffee.
So you can eat it and it feels like you're cheating, but you're really not cheating.
Exactly. And there's
there's a huge benefit there.
But I enjoy it.
Yeah, that's great. Where can folks find the Keto Brick? Are they sold in stores, or is it, just only through online purchasing, and you have it shipped? How does that company work? Because obviously that's a product that I'm not familiar with. And so maybe you can help folks if they want to get serious about keto, or they want to try Keto Bricks. Where can they find those?
So you can go to ketobrick.com, and that's the easiest way. Now, I do represent the company and am an affiliate with them. So I do have a link that I will benefit from, and it refers that sale to my account. So if people want to use my link,
Yep.
They can go to any of my platforms, and I'll provide you with my link that
Perfect.
goes to all of my links, and Keto Brick will be one of them. And if you click that and use that to purchase your bricks, then that would go to my referral.
Okay, cool. That's very cool. Anything else? I think I've asked pretty much all the questions that I wanted to ask. Is there anything else for the good of the group, or just in general, that you wanted to add before we close up?
Yeah, so what I would recommend too is make sure you're on point with your electrolytes. That's what's going to be critical with the keto flu. I have a document at my link that specifically covers electrolytes. So that is what I did wrong at the beginning that led me to failing, and has led everybody I've ever seen fail in their first attempt at the keto diet has been because of electrolyte imbalance.
Okay. So when they start your
potassium and magnesium.
Yeah, and so when you start, sorry, I interrupted you there, but when you start with the keto, your electrolytes are going to shift and balance, or they're going to change, right?
Right.
Just by nature of the diet itself, and so that's a big thing to dial in, is your electrolyte levels when you start.
Well, yeah, and it's because too, like, you're not going to have to be so hyper focused on it forever. Like, people get burdened by the thought of managing their electrolytes.
Right.
But it's, your body becomes more and more adapted to this style of eating. And so, but what I would recommend is, this is Redmond Relight.
Okay.
And so it is a electrolyte supplement. And I think if you use one of the Deeper State Keto coaches, Keto Greg, if his discount code, that will save people some money. But what it does is, one heaping scoop of that should have about 1,000 milligrams of sodium, about 500 milligrams of potassium, and around 50 milligrams of magnesium. And so I take at least one scoop of that every day. And then what you want to do is, you just want to monitor how you're feeling. If you get cramps, if you get headaches, if you get any type of lethargic or nausea, a lot of times that's going to be because of an electrolyte imbalance.
I gotcha.
And you need to take some more. The other product is Magnesium Breakthrough from Bioptimizers as a magnesium source. And this is the best magnesium source that I've found. I'm also affiliated with that company. My discount code is Clark10 if people want to save 10% on it. And super high quality, has all 7, I think it is, forms of magnesium. So you're benefiting from all of the different kinds. And total daily dose that it provides on here is 500 milligrams. So if you get both of those, that will make your transition into following a ketogenic lifestyle as easy as it could possibly be.
Okay, that's great. If folks are going to do keto, is that an absolute essential, right? Do they have to take the electrolytes and the magnesium, or is that just go ahead?
No, so I would say you absolutely need to be knowledgeable about how to take your electrolytes, and you absolutely have to, or you're gonna struggle big time. Now, the most impactful one of the 3, I would say, is sodium. And a lot of people, if sodium is the main one, that if they have a sodium of some source, whether it's pink Himalayan salt, you don't want white table salt because that's garbage.
Right.
Pink Himalayan salt, Celtic sea salt, or Redmond real salt are the really high quality, nutrient dense sources. But yeah, you have to be on top of your electrolytes as you transition into the ketogenic diet, because you are losing so much water, which, just like if you're in an athletic event and you're pouring out sweat, you're losing electrolytes.
I gotcha. Okay, that makes total sense, right? I was wondering why is the electrolytes important here? But yeah, if carbohydrates are retaining water and you restrict carbohydrates and now you're losing a lot of that water, electrolytes is gonna come with that. Okay.
Well, and then on top of that, too, we don't get a lot of the electrolytes and minerals like we used to in food because of how food is processed.
Right. Okay.
So a lot of the things that we used to get in foods and in water and all of that has become depleted. So you need to be most people need to be cognizant of their electrolytes anyway, but especially if you're going to follow a ketogenic diet.
Gotcha. That's great, man. Well, Brandon, thank you so much again for your time. It's very, very much appreciated. You've been a wealth of knowledge for me around the ketogenic diet and what it is, and I'm sure that many of our viewers will also be very, very, very much, they learned something. I know I did, so thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Till next time, as I may have questions, as I look at and just study more about the ketogenic diet, I'm sure that we'll be in touch. So thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. You're welcome. It was a pleasure, and the ketogenic diet has been life-changing for me, and that's why I continue to share about it, is hoping that somebody else who was experiencing the negative effects of poor health and how that negatively impacts your ability to be a husband, a father, in your job as a Christian, and then to experience the type of life-changing results. I can't help but continue to share it. So
yeah, that's fantastic.
It's been a great opportunity. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.